we are going to start up next with the pituitary gland. What are the hormones it is releasing? It's going to be very interesting. So let's get started. So pituitary gland. So all those diagrams and everything are very important. They can ask you to mark, or they can ask you A, B, C, D, and they will ask you to find it out. So many different questions are going to be possible. So let's start with the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is located in a bony cavity called as sella turcica. Okay, so basically, where is the pituitary gland located? It is located in the bony cavity, first of all, important. And what is the name of it? Sella turcica, and it is attached to the hypothalamus by a stalk. So the pituitary gland is going to be attached to the hypothalamus by a stalk. Okay, and where it is located? It is located in a bony cavity, and that cavity is called as sella turcica. It is divided anatomically into. So the pituitary gland is a gland. It's not a very big gland, but it is anatomically divided into two. It is divided as adrenohypophysis and neurohypophysis. Adrenohypophysis consists of two portions. Again, the adrenohypophysis also consists of two portions. What are the two portions? That is pars distalis and pars intermedia. Okay, so two portions, pars distalis and pars intermedia. The pars distalis region of the pituitary, commonly called as the anterior pituitary. So adrenohypophysis is dealing with the anterior pituitary. That this line is giving us that particular clarity, and we understood one thing, that adrenohypophysis is divided into two portions. One is going to be pars distalis and pars intermedia. Now pars distalis, when you consider, what is it all about? The pars distalis region of the pituitary, commonly called as the anterior pituitary, produce what type of hormones? Yes, so it is going to produce what type of hormones? What are the hormones? We know the growth hormones, prolactin, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotrophin hormone, luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone. So these are all the main hormones that are going to be present in our body. So you need to know all of these. What are the hormones? Let me repeat it. Growth hormone. Let's start from the top to the bottom. Growth hormone. Next is prolactin. Next is thyroid stimulating hormone. Next is nothing but adrenocorticotrophin hormone, luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone. So now next, okay, so pars distalis is responsible for the secretion of these hormones. Then what about the pars intermedia, which is the other part of the, what is it, adrenohypophysis, is going to be pars intermedia secretes only one hormone. Easy to remember. Pars intermedia is going to secrete only one hormone, that is melanocyte stimulating hormone. However, in humans, the pars intermedia is almost merged with the pars distalis. So since just one hormone it is releasing, it is not a very huge part and all. Okay, it is going to be a very small part. So it is almost merged in human beings with that of the pars distalis. Okay, so next we are going to start up with neurohypophysis. So neurohypophysis, adrenohypophysis was the anterior pituitary. That means it makes sense that the neurohypophysis will be what? The neurohypophysis is going to be nothing but it is going to be a posterior pituitary for sure. And neurohypophysis consists of pars nervosa. Okay, so pars nervosa now stores and release two hormones called as oxytocin and vasopressin. Both the hormones are very important, because it is going to be helpful for many things, like it is going to act upon the mammary glands, it is going to be acting upon the uterus during childbirth. So yes, so oxytocin and vasopressin. Oxytocin is basically to contract your muscles, okay, and vasopressin is to free it or release your muscles. Okay, that is how you have to remember it. So neurohypophysis consisting of the pars nervosa is going to be releasing two hormones, oxytocin and vasopressin, which are actually synthesized by the hypothalamus and are transported axonally to the neurohypophysis. Okay, this makes sense because they have said that the neurohypophysis, that is nothing but the pituitary, that is nothing but the hypothalamus. If you consider, it is going to be like we saw in the previous thing, that it is going to be of two different types. One is going to, the hormones are going to be acting upon it through the portal system, and other part is nothing but it is going to be acting directly. So this is how it is directly acting over here. Okay, so what happened? The oxytocin and then vasopressin are going to be produced by the hypothalamus, and then it is sent to the neurohypophysis, that is the posterior pituitary, so that it can be then transported. Understood? So this direct production from the hypothalamus. Okay, it is not here, it is not stimulating here the neurohypophysis to secrete it. Instead, it is itself secreting and giving to the pituitary gland. Now we are going to start with the next paragraph, that is, oversecretion of the growth hormone stimulates abnormal growth of the body, leading to gigantism, and low secretion of the growth hormone result in stunted growth, resulting in pituitary dwarfism. So it's an important point, that is oversecretion of one particular hormone is not good. Basically growth hormone we are talking. So if more amount of growth hormone, the person will become more tall. So gigantism we can see, and then low secretions will lead to the stunted growth, which is going to be nothing but pituitary dwarfism. So excess secretion of the growth hormone in adult, especially in middle age, can result in severe disfigurations. Excess, sudden growth, sudden release of secretions of large amount of growth hormone, if it is taking place, then it is going to lead to a disease which is going to be called as acromegaly. This acromegaly, you need to understand, that is, acromegaly will lead to the severe disfiguration, especially on the face only. So it's very evident when you see a person, and if there is some disfiguration taking place, then means excess secretion of the growth hormone has taken place at the mid age. And over the time, if it is getting secreted, it's not going to be a problem, but it is at the middle age, specifically at the middle age, suddenly large amount of secretions have been taken place. Because of that will lead to the severe disfiguration, which is going to be called as acromegaly, which may lead to serious complications as well, and also premature death if unchecked. So it is a premature death, and also complications, disfiguration will take place. Remember the name of that particular disease, which is going to be called as acromegaly. Why it is happening? Because of the excess secretion of the gonadotrophin hormone in a middle age. Okay, now the disease is hard to diagnose in the early stages and often goes undetected for many years until changes in external features being noticeable. So basically the changes are taking place in the body, large amount of growth hormone has been secreted in our body, but we will not be able to know it until unless we see the disfiguration in our external body. Now next we are going to start up. So that's all for the growth hormone. Next we are going to be starting off with the prolactin. So prolactin, if you consider, as the name suggests, lactin means it's going to secrete lactic acid. So prolactin regulates the growth of the mammary glands and production of milk in them. Very easy, as the name itself suggests, it is going to be acting upon the mammary glands, and it is going to be it is useful in the production of milk. Now next is TSH. What is TSH? Thyroid stimulating hormone. Stimulates the synthesis and secretion of the thyroid hormones from the thyroid gland. As the name suggests, thyroid stimulating hormone, definitely the thyroid hormone is going to be released from the thyroid gland. Now ACTC is going to be what is going to be ACTC is adrenocorticotrophin hormone. So adrenocorticotrophin hormone is going to stimulate the synthesis and secretion of the steroid hormones called as glucocorticoids from the adrenal cortex. Okay, so we are going to see this. So I hope this TSH, that is thyroid stimulating hormone, is clear for you. Not much is given. Next we are having ACTC, adrenocorticotrophin hormone, stimulates the synthesis and secretion of steroid. Okay, so you need to remember ACTC is one such what is that? ACTC is hormone is going to be secreting what type of a hormone? Steroid hormones. Okay, it specifically mentioned steroid hormone. An example is nothing but glucocorticoid is a steroid hormone. From which part of the body it is released? Adrenal cortex. From the adrenal cortex it is going to be, adrenal cortex means it's going to be present in the kidney. Okay, so from the adrenal cortex, glucocorticoids, which is going to be a steroid hormone, is going to be released by ACTH. Okay, so which is adrenocorticotrophin hormone. Okay, now next if you consider LH and FSH, so luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone stimulate the gonadal activity and hence are called as gonadotrophins. We have already discussed that. Now if you consider specifically in males, LH stimulate the synthesis and secretion of the hormones called as androgens from testes. So LH, if you consider, stimulates the synthesis and secretions of the hormones called as androgens from the testes. LH is acting upon the testis, hormone released is going to be androgen. Just remember like a mind map, okay? In males, if you consider FSH, that is follicle stimulating hormone, and androgens regulates spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis is nothing but it's the process of production of sperms, okay? And in females if you consider LH induces ovulation of fully mature follicles, that is Graafian follicle, and maintains the corpus luteum further formed from the remnants of the Graafian follicles. Okay, so we will just continue in the next page and then I will come back and explain after ovulation. Okay, so what exactly is being said over here, let us see. So we understood for the males, okay, we understood for the males, that is LH is acting upon the testis and production of androgen is taking place. Then we saw about FSH, which is very clearly mentioned that FSH and androgens will regulate spermatogenesis. You need to remember this properly. In males, LH is going to be acting upon the testis, production of androgen is taking place. Now this androgen and the follicle stimulating hormone together will lead to spermatogenesis. Next, in females if you consider, in female the LH is going to be helpful in the ovulation of the fully mature follicle. Ovulation is what? Release of the ova, okay, release of the ova, fully mature follicle. The fully mature follicle, as you could have studied in 12th standard, it's called as a Graafian follicle and it maintains the corpus luteum, okay. So LH is responsible for ovulation and maintaining the corpus luteum, and then FSH. Now we are going to study about FSH. So FSH stimulates the growth and the development of the ovarian follicles. As the name suggests, it is easy to remember also. FSH is follicle stimulating hormone and it is maintaining the ovarian follicles. Now MSH acts on the melanocyte. What is this MSH? It is going to be melanocyte stimulating hormone. Can you tell me that melanocyte stimulating hormone is released by which part of the adrenohypophysis? Adrenohypophysis is the adrenal, that is nothing but anterior pituitary, and can you tell me MSH is nothing but it is released by which portion of the adrenohypophysis? It is going to be called as pars intermedia. It is the only hormone which is released by the pars intermedia. MSH, melanocyte stimulating hormone, okay, acts on the melanocyte, that is melanin containing cells. Your skin color, your skin pigmentation is because of this only, melanocyte, and the melanocyte has a pigment. Your body, your skin has a pigment. It is going to be called as a melanin. Okay, so that is the melanocyte stimulating hormone. I hope you understood this one. Next, we are going to start off with the oxytocin. So oxytocin is released by which portion of the brain? It is released by the posterior pituitary, that is going to be called as neurohypophysis, by the pars nervosa. Okay. So this oxytocin acts on the smooth muscles of our body. I told you it is going to be responsible for the contraction. It's mentioned over here. Okay. Now in females, it stimulates a vigorous contraction of the uterus at the time of the childbirth and the milk ejection from the mammary glands, because that requires contraction. Okay. Next, we are going to study about vasopressin. The vasopressin acts upon mainly at the kidney and stimulates reabsorption of the water. Okay, so vasopressin is basically release. You want to relax, release. So it is going to release or relax the kidney and stimulate reabsorption of the water and electrolysis by the distal tubules. That is nothing but we have distal convoluted tubules, and thereby reduce loss of water through the urine. That is, reduce the loss of water through the urine is called as diuresis, and hence it is also called as antidiuretic hormone. It is going to be called as an antidiuretic hormone. So basically, which is going to be called as an antidiuretic hormone? It is nothing but vasopressin. What is that? Vasopressin is called as an antidiuretic hormone. Why it is called so? Because it is mainly acting upon the kidney, and you know that kidney is only responsible for the formation of the urine. Okay, so basically vasopressin acts upon the kidney and it is stimulating the reabsorption of water and electrolytes by the distal tubules, and thereby reduces loss of the water. What it is going to reduce? It is reducing the loss of the water through the urine. That is nothing but diuresis. It is going to reduce the loss of water. If there is a lot of water